it is in the culture that sharing is that when you have something, a certain amount of it you have to also give away.
No one chooses to leave their home. No one chooses to go on a journey that covers thousands of miles. To have an opportunity in another country. They choose that because of the desperate situations that they live in.
My motto has always been treat people the way you want to be treated, so it's always been like that from the very early age.
They have no doors to knock, or no food to share, no joys or happiness. And I start crying. I don't cry normally, but on the plane I was start crying. And then I said, I need to do something about this.
I'm Bora Bıçakçı.
So my name is Mohammed Al Bayati.
I'm Nilüfer.
My name is Rıdvan Seber.
I am 30, 26, 27?
I don't know.
37 years old. I am working in a finance sector as a customer support analyst, and it's my full-time job. And also I have got a daughter who is 20, almost 2 years actually in March. At the weekends we just try to spend together as a family really. So this is our life. Oldu. Uzat elini. Uzat elini bak bakalım. Alır mısın?
I'm Bora. I came here to London for a project-based job approximately 10 years ago. Was working in hotel business initially. Then I met Nev. Got married, got children, which was not planned at all. Now we have a little baby. Settled here, going on. Right now I'm doing project management also for a financial company.
I am from Turkey and from a city called Izmir, and I have lived there until I came to the UK when I was only 20 years old. I finished university, and as soon as I finished university I came to the UK to study English, to learn English. I was gonna go back after 2 years, but I'm still here. I have got my mom and my brother. We lost my father when I was 12 years old. So I was really happy. I had a very lovely childhood. We have a really, really close family in Turkey, so we have a very close bonds. Because in my family everyone tries to help each other in difficult situations, so that should certainly helped me to achieve what I'm trying to achieve at the moment.
My name is Rıdvan Seber. I am an IT specialist. I'm from Turkey, and I have been living in London for about 14 years now. I was in Istanbul all my life, then moved to London. Istanbul is also a very big city. I have 6 sisters, 2 brothers. Very big family, but very cheerful and very nice to be around. And I go and visit them as much as I can, my parents do. Well, this is not my first project. I have been involved in so many small, I'm Turkish here, like minority here, and we get together as a Turkish young professionals, and we did lots of work here, but it was for small groups and ourselves.
For me, actually, it wasn't a very sudden approach, to be honest, because before that I was doing little charity works already, but not in that scale, to be honest. So it was like little charity works, like helping some children in Turkey.
and we did some demonstrations, sports, and everything. And this is the second one, which we are talking about, the Calais refugees. Like, I was on the plane from Greece to Turkey, to London. It was just few days escape from the city. And on the plane, something hit me.
One day I read the news about this Syrian guy being in the ambulance and shocked, and little kid being in the ambulance and shocked and couldn't move and couldn't talk. And I was at work, I suddenly started crying my eyes out, and I called Rudvan and I said to Rudvan, we should do something about these kids, and let's take action.
And I'm Muslim, I told you, and we have religious days, celebrations, and I was deeply hurt by what's happening in Syria, and people who doesn't have any more places to live or to go or to visit. And those religious days are very important for Muslim culture, because you go and visit your elderlies and just knock any door, celebrate, happy, share. That's one of the culture or one of the things we do. But unfortunately, those people in Syria, they have no doors to knock, or no food to share, no joys or happiness. And I start crying. I don't cry normally, but on the plane I was start crying. And then I said, I need to do something about this. And I start talking to my friends, and probably you have already talked to Nevgül, or you will hear about her. She's the she's the person who led the project.
If she didn't do that, I wouldn't be in this. I mean, we are doing our kind of obligatory contributions to charities around us. But this is actually my first active contribution, and thanks to her, it was a great opportunity. Yeah, she's the lead here, yes.
I was so excited, so that I could feel that my heart was like beating very fast.
Well, I didn't even sleep.
Well, we went to bed quite late. Maybe none of us did sleep because we were all excited. We didn't know what to expect when we get there.
And because we were going there to help people, and we were bringing so much aid to them, like all those boxes, putting them in the car in the morning, and people are coming from like other part of London just to be there, and it was so amazing that I remember that morning very well, every moment of it. So yeah, it was amazing for me.
I know my name. I'm sure I know my name.
Really exciting, scary, inspiring, happy, all.
Me and 12 gigantic hearts will be en route to Calais to share your love and generosity. We will also continue our mission to plant peace in people's hearts. 2 weeks ago, we couldn't dream what we have achieved in 1 week, and you have been taking the key for us to be able to do this. You all gave us the hope, courage, and the trust with your messages, donations, and shares in order for us keeping going and not stopping. Yes, we are overwhelmed. Currently, 1 van and 3 cars aren't enough to take all the donations we have, let alone the love we carry it ourselves for the people waiting for us. Thank you for what you have provided, and thank you for believing in us, and thank you for making this happening. And all donors, all of you who read this message, love you all.
Love the message first. Yes, that was a little bit anxiety because we heard about stories what's happening there, and obviously at the border people were sent back to the UK when they found out that help was going to the camp and stuff. So
No, and I think if I was a border agency, I will check. Especially after the answer comes yes, if they ask, okay, who did pack for you? How can you say that, how can you take 100% responsibility now what is in the box? The black box, which says orange tea. What if something else comes out of it?
Yes. Thank you.
Actually not, you know. The bits are the same.
Hi.
Hello, oh, sorry.
Bergman, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you
Thank you.
can see from the plate. So it's my
Yeah.
first time.
Magic. Magic.
What a tough control. Is this the border past?
This was French border.
So we are in France now.
Yeah, we're still in
I mean,
Dover, but
in virtual environment. France will know other.
We passed the control, I think, yeah. Legally, we are in France.
it was amazing when we had this little introducing section on the ferry. I think it was really like we are doing something together and we are there for the same purpose, 13 of us, just for the same purpose.
It was not comfortable really because I don't like to talk about myself to people, but there you need to introduce yourself. But thankfully, most of them, they knew me beforehand, so I don't need to. And if you'll see the footages, they will all make a joke about me.
He wasn't getting angry like that?
He was always angry. Always.
Man, always.
Always grumpy and yeah. We are used to it now. We are used to it
This way. Straight. This is the first, this is the second.
But going into Calais, to seeing the fences and everything, it was a bit like, what's happening here?
There was a real determination by the French authorities not to allow or not to encourage people to come and assist these refugees, as they viewed them as a blight on that area.
How much effort is made to block this traffic? All these fences were doubled in size. Big investment there.
And so we were warned not to make it known that we were coming to the camp to offer assistance or to bring aid, as the French authorities were mindful that they didn't want to encourage more refugees to attend or to enter the camp with the view that they would get assistance or with the view that there would be an endless stream of donations coming in. And so that was, it set the tone.
These fences were never here. They must have put them up recently because I've been driving back and forth into Europe for the last 17 years. I only saw them just before last Christmas, and now they put up 2 fences even.
Double fence.
Yeah, double fence.
And so the donations that were being brought across was taken and delivered straight to the charity's warehouse.
Now we are going to the warehouse of the Care for Calais. We have 6 minutes drive. We just left the port.
Care for Calais is an individual volunteering group, actually, charity from the UK, and they are set up in France just to help the refugees in Calais refugee camp. So we'll be there at 10 o'clock for the briefing.
They all need to be sorted.
Do they know that we arrive at camps?
As soon as we got to the warehouse, we were asked to sign in, we were briefed, we were given health and safety briefings, It was very well organized, and I was pleasantly surprised as to how well the operation was running.
Even though it was like quite early in the morning, you know, there were people there and who started to work in the warehouse already, and they were all volunteers. And the warehouse was huge, you know, 2 warehouses, one for food, one for clothing and stuff. I was like, oh my God. And the first feeling was that all these donations came from lovely people. You know, they just gave them out to help refugees, and volunteers are there trying to sort them out.
Goods and supplies were constantly being delivered. They were constantly being sorted and prepared.
So every morning, a lot of I think it's run mostly by the long-term kind of volunteers. They go into camp every morning and literally cover as much ground as they can, and they take requests from any of the people there, and they come back here, and then the next day the requests from the previous day are bagged up as best as can be, and then they're taken out into camp in the afternoon.
To see that list, those lists actually, and seeing that what they need in the camp made me feel really heartbroken, you know, because it was like jogging bottom, and one of them written like jogging bottom, and t-shirts and shoes for their baby who is 9 months old. It's just like, I have a baby, and we could have been in that camp with my daughter, you know, and we would have been in their situation. So it was, yeah, from the beginning till the end, it was always in my mind, always.
You think, oh, I've wasted my time in my early 20s. There were loads, but there were not enough people to sort all those clothes or food out. They didn't have right facilities, they didn't have enough vans to take them back to the camp. So they were as organized as they could be, because they were all young people.
I think one of the challenges is because there's like so many volunteers, and it's great that so many people want to come and help, but obviously everyone can't stay for such a long time. And even I was surprised to know like even the long-term volunteers aren't, like, a lot of them have only been here a couple of weeks and they're leaders, and it's like, it's great that everyone wants to help, but it makes it like a challenge, I guess, to maintain the civility.
You know, we were scheduled to go to the camp that afternoon, and the drive down to the camp was a long drive. It took nearly half an hour from the charity warehouse, and one of the first signs that you see as you approach the camp were these people that were just sitting on the side of the road. Clearly, they were homeless. They looked completely out of place. And as you got closer to the camp, you saw more and more of these people. You saw greater police presence. There were riot gear police, and the entrance to the camp was heavily guarded. However, you needed a pass in order to get through those checkpoints.
Well, yeah, that's the first thing. You see the police, and I'm like, why the police is here? What are they doing here? Like, because they are checking us, like, controlling who we are and everything. I'm like, why? And with the guns and everything, it's a bit scary in the beginning.
We got the sense that we weren't welcomed there by the French police, and they made it known that they were cautious as to who we were, why we were there, and what our intentions were.
And then we go into camp, seeing different things, and the messages on the walls or on the everywhere, sort of heartbreaking, also hopeful.
It looked better than I expected, to be honest.
I was prepared for much worse. I was prepared for people maybe ill, sick, or people in a tense situation, Instead, the place, I mean, my first impression I had was the weather was nice, sun was shining. So the tents I saw, I mean, it reminded me rather to camping tents you would normally do on a beach place, you know, towards the beach.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, we see on the news and newspapers, but unless you see with your own eyes, you don't really understand what is happening there. And I was very surprised to see small communities supporting each other, getting together, which is understandable because they speak the same language.
It was like a community that had thrived there. And so you had different quadrants within the camp. You had an area that was populated mainly with Arabs, for example, or an area that mainly had Africans, or an area that had Afghanis, or different people from different nationalities.
It wasn't muddy, people were either washing themselves or playing football, cooking in one corner, having tea in the other corner. They had the whole high street where they built up their restaurants and corner shops.
The restaurants and the cafe and hairdresser. It was really like amazing.
There was even a hotel that had been built up within that area. So it was, you know, it was a pleasant surprise to see that despite all of these difficulties, they were able to create a mini city for themselves.
Oh yeah, it was a kind of, not shop, but it was a kind of charity kind of thing, that telling people about their legal rights. You know, it was like kind of corner shop, but there was a guy working in there and telling refugees about their legal rights. So it was amazing as well, you know.
There were places of religion, there were mosques, you know, people walking around with iPhones, there were makeshift schools.
I don't know, I was really nervous because I haven't done, like, I've never done proper teaching, and I've done a bit of volunteering teaching, but always children, and this is all like adult men, and I was a bit nervous, just to, like, you don't want to be patronising when you're teaching like basic English skills to adults, but I think I was like pleasantly surprised by how like much I enjoyed it, and how like the people were so lovely.
I managed to see the other warehouse as well, rather than only Care for Calais. I also saw some other warehouses, and I see how big they are and see how people coming in and helping, donating, how organized they are. But still, they need more stuff, more materials to help people or to use them, or, you know. So I felt so powerless to be able to like really make a difference.
For me that day, even though, you know, we managed to create 500 hampers, and the group that I went with, they distributed them out, you know, Care for Calais, and we gave 500 hampers out. We made a difference to 500 lives out there. It was a drop in the ocean, however, a drop in the ocean still makes a ripple. We managed to get to the edge of the camp, and we would see hordes of people just sitting at the edge of the camp. And so we asked our guide, why are these people sitting here? And he pointed to the road that actually ran in parallel to the camp, and the main reason why this camp grew the way it did.
I reckon
Each
so.
night,
I think
people
2
try
days.
to cross
2 days.
the fences. They throw some wood, stones on the road, stop the lorry, and get inside. So that cops are all around the road and try to prevent them by gas, by forces. And each night, 1 or 2 times, they also go to the junction of the motorway and the road, this road, called Harbour Road. At the junction, they make an embouteillage, you know, when
Barriers,
traffic.
yeah, barriers, sort of roadblocks.
Yes,
Yeah.
they stop the traffic, and after they take care of this lorry here. So we have strategy. They speak from each other. They attack like 200, 600 people. Yes, it's coordination. It's clever. It's not because they want to increase the chance to pass across to catch a lorry. So they have to work together. But now chances are few, so they don't work together. They are in concurrential attitude. It's normal. It's mathematical.
How did you feel towards the end of the day?
Tired, distressed again, because as you ask me, I know my shift is ending. I'm gonna go home to my comfortable world. I'll forget everything what happened here, and I will live happily ever after. Because sort of social masturbation. I've done what I can, right? I brought service to them. I made a difference. So what?
I was sad that we couldn't stay there any longer. I felt like definitely going back the following weekend. But we all have our commitments, we all have our families, and I knew it will stay with us for a couple of days, couple of weeks, or maybe a couple of months, but it was just an experience for us. It's not forgotten, but would I do it again? Yes, but I know it's just for a certain time.
It was like, again, it's gonna come to the conclusion or my idea that we did what we could have done. So we did our best to help them. But again, I was thinking, the volunteers, like permanent volunteers, are doing this every day.
It's actually worse because that's one-off, and that doesn't count. That doesn't help. We went there the day before of the religious celebration, so that's what I was saying. So we see, luckily the weather was nice, people were in a good mood, and then what we did was sort of worked. But tomorrow there's a rain, and then they all forgotten, and they need more food to eat because we all eat every day, and they will need the same. They need to go to toilet, and where there is no toilet or take a shower, where? So then remembering this, well, not really. I didn't feel like, oh yeah, I've done something, not really.
I thought there is a lot to be done, or there is a lot we can do to help those people. And just being there for a day to help them is not enough. So it should be consistent. It should be consistent. If you want to make difference on their life, you should really put your foot and decide that, okay, you're going to do some other projects to help those people. It should be consistent. Otherwise, your help is like, okay, just for a day, and then it will be forgotten.
I was truly inspired by this group of individuals who had got together and caused this, and really had this drive. And so when I got back to London, I immediately started to make arrangements for my second trip.
I mean, it inspired some of our friends as well. I mean, we have a friend, her name is Kat. She's been going there every week.
This time, again, I had a list of essentials, and I knew that I wanted to make a difference to this small group of people that I had discovered that were in the camp, and they only maybe numbered 200. They were in a minority. However, they'd created a space, a sanctuary for themselves that just required, some essentials. We took out their generators, we took out their lights, we took gas, we took food, supplies, and we changed that sanctuary from somewhere that was a place of faith. We actually turned it into something that had lighting, that had electricity. And we take electricity for granted, but in a camp like that, it was like a godsend. And that evening, they were feeding other people. And it was truly, touching to see that the small little help that we had given them enabled them to help so many other people there in the camp.
So yes, we inspired people, and I also myself with Olga and a few other people, we went there once or twice more So we try to do something, but when you go back to your life, you already have some sort of things going on, and you cannot keep working for it. So it doesn't work. Like they need constant help. Actually, rather than help, they need a change.
The second occasion, it was nearer to October that I went. The demolition of the camp had been approved by the French president. There was a real sense of anxiety in the camp. The atmosphere was completely different to the first time that I went. When we arrived, we were surrounded by nearly 200 residents of the camp. They were desperate. They wanted to know why we were there. They were loitering around us, and they were menacing. It was a completely different atmosphere. We started hearing screaming and shouting, and swarms of people started to run towards us. And so when we looked out, there had been a demonstration, and riot police had gathered at the periphery of the camp. And suddenly the riot police wanted to start taking control of the crowds that had gathered and started lobbing tear gas canisters into the camp. And these tear gas canisters just came flying in, with no aim, no direction. And even as charity workers, we got caught in the crossfire. Unfortunately, the way that the camp was torn down was really heartbreaking.
First I thought it is very disturbing and sad, and it was coming towards winter. But then I found out that they actually have been put in places like shared room, they have their own bathroom, their toilet, and they have where they can go down and have their meals. So I think they were put into a better place. They didn't need to be in Calais. They could be anywhere in France. They would be still safe.
Well, we read different news about it, and they say France is building a place for them so they can all live in, which is not really the fact. I see every day the people are on the street or in one neighborhood, they are sleeping under some bridges, or they don't have shelter, they have nothing, they don't even have sleeping bags to sleep in. And the winter time, it's cold. Paris is cold. They all went into Paris. It was tough, and I was heartbroken.
I felt that the French authorities were very heavy-handed in their approach. And I wonder, quite often what's happened to these people. I mean, I know they were taken off to rehabilitation centers, and they with the prospect of being rehoused, and I just wonder how much of that has really happened.
I can easily say that my whole life has changed. The way I look at things has completely changed. My priorities have changed in terms of, like, before I had dreams having big houses and very good cars and good salary and going on holidays like 3 times or 4 times a year. To be honest, Kiran, they don't make any sense to me at all anymore. So people are out there fighting for their lives. So I'm just so grateful what I have got. So grateful.
Well, my wish, my hope is the camp is not going to be there because people will be in peace. But when you look at the current state of the world, that's unlikely to happen. And what we have been told many times at the camp, every time they demolish the camp, the number grows and people come there with a huge number. So I hope, I wish, I pray no one needs to flee from their houses to stay in that kind of, or live in that kind of situation.
Since I've started this project, I don't want to stop, because when I stop doing any charity jobs or any fundraising or anything like that, I feel like I'm not living my life. I'm not living life. It's pointless to me if I'm not doing any charity jobs. So this is what I really feel.
Before, it was something on the bucket list. I want to do this, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. It was something that wasn't a reality. It was something that, yeah, this, you know, I want to do this, and I have a desire to do this. Having actually crossed that line and done something, you know, having actually participated in something like this, it's all within reach. Anyone can make a difference. Anyone can actually make that journey, make that effort, and make a difference. And it doesn't have to be something big. You know, it can be something small. However, the smallest of things can impact the life of someone. And so whether you make a difference to 1,000 people or to one person, you're still making a difference.